Hi everyone. Hi from another important subject. Please let me begin with the name of Allah again in order to be protected from the dangers of Satan or small satans, called as genes in Islam, which can settle in any human minds or which can also settle in the mind of animals or objects who let them to get in. But don't worry, they can be controlled by knowledge. But if you think your knowledge of experience is not enough, wish help from Allah. That's why Allah is always there in your minds, waiting to help you whenever you need. Call it, wish from it, and even if you have no experience or knowledge to protect yourselves from the steps or dangers of genes, you can be saved. You can get less harm or no harm. So, let me call my one God Allah to keep me away from dangers as much as possible while I'm working or talking on this subject with you now. Euzu billahi mineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am starting with the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most protector. And I take the refuge of Allah from the dangers of the expert Satan. Here, shaitan is used for Satan. I will also suggest this phrase and some other surahs or verses from Holy Quran for you to be able to keep yourselves away from dangers as much as possible. Because today's subject is mostly about Satan or Satan minds and how Satan works through sorceries by sending genes in minds. You might say that you are not making sorceries or you are not a part of a sorcery or you are not dealing with a sorcery. But in today's world, sorcery is made in many ways, and most of you are not aware that they are using a sorcery over your fates, over your lives. I'm going to talk about these ways, or in which ways Satan makes sorceries to convince us. Here, I also mean I want to explain the relation between genes and false gods, or between genes and sort of sorceries. How they try to convince us to wish from false gods, like sort of sorceries. Any evils we can see around us is done as a result of someone's wish. He or she wishes something and wants to get it as quick as possible. And if they think it is not possible to get it, they start using some wrong ways. Instead of wishing it from only one God, Allah, or instead of accepting that it's not right for them to wish it, they keep wishing it. And if they understand that only one God won't accept their wish, this time they start wishing it from false gods, like wishing from objects, wishing from human beings, or wishing from sort of sorceries. Let's start with these sort of sorceries first. For example, these evil minds who were convinced by Satan through its genes settled in their minds want to guide you according to their wishes, want to guide your mind. And by using medias, at first they will try to take your attentions by doing some things you will like, by giving or explaining some knowledge you will need. Yes, cults in Islam are doing what I mean now. They use knowledge in Islam. They use the true knowledge in Islam to take minds into their cults so they could have more worshippers or more servers. But in Islam, Allah never needs a group or a cult to reach you. These groups are made by Satan or Satan minds to spread discrimination in Islam. The real intention is to make believers worship themselves, to be able to rule and guide people using some knowledge from Islam. Cults or groups are not allowed in Islam, so try to be careful. If a cult or a group or a person from a group is trying to get you in this group by convincing you with these magical or enchanted words stolen from Islam. And same thing can be done in social medias, magazines or movies, TV series, programs. They use some details that will take your attentions. They use some true knowledge, some vital issues that you will need in your lives. And you start thinking that this movie is like a god, or this program is like a god helping you for the vital issues. So you should keep watching it. You should keep getting knowledge from it. Yes, this might also be a program or a column of a magazine or of a newspaper talking about your horoscopes. If Satan wants to guide you in the wrong way, it can use any way, anyone, any object, any program, any movie to convince you. So, what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to be careful while watching a movie, a program, or even an advertisement, while reading or listening something. The Satan or your enemy might be using these ways to guide you, to convince you. You have only one God, Allah. So you can't see a movie or a program as your God. You shouldn't let them guide you completely. That's why in the beginning I wanted to suggest you some phrases to call while watching something or while someone is trying to take your attention by giving some true knowledge. Yes, the knowledge they use might be true, but it is only because of convincing you to stay there so they can deceive you with the other details they hide in the same speech or in the same movie or in the same program or in the same TV channel. So don't see anything as your God. And don't think that they are entirely telling the truth. They are giving what you need. And so you don't need an only one God, Allah, to wish from. If you see them completely true, and if you start thinking that you don't need an only one God, Allah, you can be deceived easily by these minds who try to reach your mind through medias. These minds can also be someone around you, not from a media. He or she might be giving the true knowledge you need or the help you need, but his or her intention might be deceiving you or guiding you in another way, the way that you will make a mistake. I mean, you shouldn't trust something completely. Yes, you should trust them in the beginning, but you should suspect from this movie or from this person or from this program. In real, they might be planning to deceive or guide you in their ways. So, how can you be protected by all these possible evil minds? Of course, by being faithful. You might say, I can be saved by being careful, by knowing the possibilities. But you cannot always be careful. You might be deceived. To be protected as much as possible, you need to be faithful. Your knowledge, your carefulness, your control might not be enough. You might forget. You might be in a mood that you are confused. So faith saves you in such conditions. But I mean the true faith. Here I mean the true faith, the updated faith which you can learn by Islam. Call the name Allah whenever you think that you might be deceived. Try to say, Euzu billahi mineşşeytanirracim, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, or at least try to say, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, or try to say, Allah, please help me. Before reading something, before starting something, before watching, listening something, or if you forget, say it while watching something, or while doing something, or after watching it, or after doing it. I never say social medias or people around us are wholly evil. Yes, we connect to each other through medias. We learn something beneficial, we get help, we get motivation. But we have to be careful. We might be deceived as well. Yes, all these sort of sorceries are like a gambling. You might be winning in the beginning. You might seem you are winning in the beginning. This is a way of gambling to get you more inside it. But later, it doesn't help you to win, because the real intention in gambling is to make you lose. So don't think that you are in the right way because you keep winning. Satan minds wants you to lose in the end. That's why they let you keep winning, and so you keep staying with them there. You might be thinking that your only one God, your invisible God, is not helping you, not making your wish true. But this series movie, or this program, or this person, or this group of people, or a sorcerer is helping you to get your wishes. So you prefer trusting them instead of submitting yourself to your only one God, Allah. You submit yourself to a movie, to a person, to a sorcerer, to a group of people. You might be thinking that God won't let it be yours. You don't deserve it. Or if it is a person, you are sure that Allah won't let him or her be yours because he or she doesn't want you. So, because you are not patient or you don't want to accept truths, you start using other ways to get your wish. Yes, you might get some of your wishes. As I said before, Allah lets Satan make them true because you didn't trust Allah. You stopped wishing from Allah. You didn't accept that you shouldn't wish it. So Allah leaves you in Satan's hand and Satan makes it. You pay or you do what these minds want from you to do. You do what Satan or Satan minds want from you to do. You worship them, see them as a god, and they stop working for you to give you what you wish. This can be a sorcerer, a media worker, or a server of Dajjal or 11 Mason or Zionist system. They can be a server of these systems. But these are all sins, both these systems, and you get your punishments in the end, both here and afterlife, because of not obeying your only one God, Allah. Yes, you might be thinking that this false God or these false gods you trust made your wish, so why wouldn't you keep believing and wishing from them? You send your wish to your invisible God, but it did nothing. But this thing, or this person, or this group of people, or this object, like a cross, made your wish. So why wouldn't you keep believing and wishing from them? But I said, it is going to be like a gambling. When you choose something else as your God instead of the true God Allah, the true God Allah sent your wish to Satan, and Satan might make it true to take you more into its fake system. You start thinking that this thing or this false God or this person made your wish. So from now on, whenever you need something else, you should wish from this God or this person because it made your wish. But these false gods always await something from you to pay, or always await something from you to do in return of making your wishes true. But the real God Allah or its system never takes anything from you to make your wish true. You just pray, tell your wishes, and do what it requires and wait. You just do what your wish waits from you to do, not what others wait from you to do. But Satan or Satan minds want you to believe itself. See it as your God and keep wishing only from it and do what it wants from you to do. So by this way, Satan wants us to get away from our true God Allah and could deceive us, could deceive more people and get more people into its fake system. Yes, today the Jadi does the same. It never wants you to believe only one God, Allah. Because if you believe the system loses, so it wants you to believe the just system and wish everything you need from its system. Force you or make pressures to you to believe in its system. So step by step, you could see it. You could see the judge as your only one God. Yes, they forced me to. It is still forcing me to worship itself and its system. It used many genie minds. It is still using many genie minds to worship, to make me worship itself. But I'm trying to take a refuge of Allah from the dangers of the Satan's server, Dajjal and its system. Yes, you might be wishing from this system, the solar system, and they might be making your wish come true. But the only one God, Allah, lets the judge to some point, or let Satan work to some point. Because Allah says they didn't keep believing in me. They didn't keep seeing me as their only one God. They saw other ways and wished from them. So I will send their wish to its owner, Satan. Allah lets Satan work to some point. Allah lets Satan work for a while, but in the end, Allah takes the control. So Satan never wins till the end. In this gambling, because of trusting others instead of trusting your only one God, Allah, instead of submitting yourself to your only one God, Allah, you will be the loser. Soon or late, you will be the loser. So from here, you can understand that Satan has a system too, like angels have. I will try to explain these systems in detail later in another podcast. But here, we need to know how Satan's system works in minds. It has small satans called as genes. But these genes work behind bodies of humans or animals or objects. A person might be deceived by Satan and might be working for Satan against you. I mean, the control of his or her mind might have been taken by Satan's system. And this mind starts working as a gene. But when you convince this mind, the gene turns to a good gene, stops working against you, and might leave this mind. Then the mind keeps working with its angel. But Satan doesn't stop. It might use other ways to send its genes to the same mind or other minds against you. Genes are visible. They need bodies, minds to work. So, sort of sorceries are a way of communication that Satan controls through genes that will keep working for its system or evil ways. Yes, genes are like small satans, but as they are here and cannot go beyond the dome of this flat earth because it's not allowed, they could only live in minds. Allah doesn't allow genes to go beyond the earth in order to be controlled by believers easily. So they can be controlled with faith and knowledge. Knowledge might not always be enough to control them, but faith is always enough. You can convince them and turn them into good genes. But Satan cannot be controlled. It might stop working, but keeps working later by using or producing new genes. Yes, Satan's system is like vampires. Of course, we know there is no vampire, but the idea of vampire we heard or read or watched, or the setting, must have been inspired them to explain us how this system works. Satan deceives a new mind and so starts having new vampires. I mean, having new small satans, having new genes. We can't say genes are all evils. They can be convinced and turn to a good gene when they meet believers. However, the Jack David Rockefeller and all other systems working with the same intention are the systems of human beings. I mean, both the and its servers are under the control of Satan. Satan deceived them many times from their weak sides. They didn't accept truths. They just focused on how they could get what they wish, although they don't deserve it. And this is what Satan needs. A weak mind, an obsessed mind is always ready to be deceived easily by the Satan. I'm sorry if I couldn't explain this system well, as I'm still working on them, but I can say that I have had many moments in my life that I convinced some genes, some minds, and they stop working against Allah and me. They might leave the mind they dominate after they are convinced. They might be either convinced by the mind they try to dominate, or they might be convinced by the mind they want to deceive. But this time, Satan's mind sent another gene to the same mind by deceiving at first this mind, and then settle there to dominate, and might stay there long till a believer convinced it to stop, or till the mind that the gene settled to dominate is convinced by itself, by its mind to stop. So we should pray for our own minds and for others' mind. I pray Allah for all minds to keep them away from these evil genes. Not all of you have enough faith to convince these evil genes. So we need to pray. You need to pray. Pray to keep your minds, keep others' minds away from these vampires. How do I pray? I try to read some surahs from Holy Quran, especially the last two surahs in Holy Quran, Surah Falaq and Surah Nas, to protect myself from the dangers of Satan. So a good believer believes that Allah warned these evil minds, waited them to give up, and so by this way they get less punishments. But they didn't care. So one day it takes the control. Allah takes the control and shows who the real God is and how its system works. So never trust that your wishes will come true till the end by false gods, or your wishes will come true whenever you wish, whatever you wish. From there, from your sides, I might seem as the loser, but as long as I believe the true God Allah, as long as I keep wishing from it, I am the winner. I'm just waiting the end with patience. And yes, one more thing to add about genes. They cannot go beyond the earth because there is no need to be there. They have to be here in minds, both in human minds, animal minds, or the minds of objects. So there is no need for them. There is no need for Satan to send them or to let them work beyond the earth. Yes, as I said before, it is also because Allah could control them easily. We have an opportunity called as fate to control these genes. They can be changed into good genes. And now I want to thank these two names, Casper, which is the brand of my personal computer, and also which is the name of my favorite cartoon. And the other name is Etigin, which is a kind of snack I loved to have in my childhood. These two names, Casper and Etigin, help especially kids not to be afraid of genes or ghosts. I thank you too because you help me to reach that genes have good sides when they are controlled by us with true faith. And now I thank all of you, all of my listeners, till here, for listening me till here with patience. May Allah be with you all and keep you safe from evil genes. Bye for now.